first of all, the brain craves novelty. We come in different. The kids are going to be like, what's this? And they're going to want to participate differently. I used to have a consultant come into my classroom. I described him as Santa Claus and Grandpa rolled up in one. He'd say the same dadgum thing I said to the kids, and they'd be like, okay. And I was, what? I was so frustrated by that.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Quick Bites with Ginger and Eric. We are joining you from Hutchinson, Kansas, and we are members of the ESDAC Resilience Team, and we are super glad you're joining us today. Maybe this is your first time joining us. Maybe you are listening to all of our Quick Bites, which we love either way. They're both great. So, and we, of course, always welcome your feedback, but we've done a Quick Bites recently about respect agreements.
Yes.
And so and you please keep listening to this one, or if you want to pause and listen to that one first, totally up to you. But we've done that. But now we kind of want to talk about, hey, I'm using respect agreements. I've done that with my class, but sometimes we need a reminder. We do a little callback reminder of what we agreed to in our respect agreement. And still my kids end up just yelling and blaming each other. Like,
yeah.
Wait a minute, I did what you told me to do, the respect agreement, but it's not working perfectly. What do I do?
I am so glad that this is on the table right now, because this is a real scenario that I've been working with a teacher who said, Ginge, we need to do something. I said, let's talk about respect agreements. And just a very brief review. It's a set of agreements that is created by both the teachers and the teacher and the students about how we're going to treat each other, student to teacher, teacher to students, and all to the environment. And we come up together and share what we put on there is important, because when was a time we didn't experience that? And so it becomes really powerful as people start to hear and see one another and start to build the positive classroom culture that they want to participate in. And then time passes and we fall back into old habits of how we want to be. And so this teacher said, Ginge, it worked really well for about a week. And now I said, well, just review it again. And so she did. And I talked to her afterward and she said, well, that was awful. I said, oh no, why? And she said, well, I just said, these are the things that we have here. Are we doing these things? And they said, oh, well, I am, but they're not. And they started pointing and yelling, and it was even louder and worse than before. And she said, it was a complete waste of time. I'm mad. And I said, oh, thank you for calling me. Let's dig into this,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And in her situation, she's such a soft spoken and kind-hearted teacher. All her classes run like butter, right? They are perfect,
beautiful,
except for this one that has the dynamic. And so I thought, listen, I got to get boots on the ground. I got to go see what this is like. And so I got in there with my personality, which is, not nice and soft-hearted and smooth. It's
nice,
a little more
folks.
Spicy.
Okay, I'll go with spicy, but it is nice.
Yeah, well, it was high school, so I brought my ginger self. And we just had a conversation, how's this going? And when this is happening, and they talked about it. And she said afterward that conversation was much more productive. And I think sometimes it might take another facilitator. Also, she got to see a different way of being in these types of conversations. Gosh, the only thing I can think of right now is taking the bull by the horns. That's not an appropriate analogy, but I'm a visual thinker, and there I am. She just, how do we just directly address it with confidence and care, without yelling, without what do we wear, with wearing soft armor? I'm going to be strong. I'm wearing armor. This is what it is going to be, but I don't have to be harsh and mean about it. We can be kind, and so. I think her combination and mine of peanut butter and chocolate. I'm going to throw more analogies in. I think it just worked perfectly for this particular classroom. And so that's it, really, is we review. How is it going? How do we feel about this? And it goes back to the idea of this is a shared space with the kids and me. And I am the adult and I am in charge. And we will do this together in a way that makes better sense. Again, how do we give space for that while realizing they're not my equal and I'm not their equal in responsibility in the space. But in deserving respect, yeah, maybe I'm their equal and they're mine.
I think when you're talking about that is so good. And I think you are 100% correct. And sometimes we can walk in as a facilitator, not the classroom teacher who's there every day, and provide a little bit of a different approach and perspective just because, you and I and other folks at SDAC go into a lot of different classrooms. So I think that's a valuable experience in and of itself. But I also think it makes me think of, I always say, I want to convey to students, and I feel like you were doing this when you were helping this teacher with this, when you were helping lead her kids through this, that I am strong enough and I'm going to command this room enough to let you know that I am strong enough to accept you, to handle you, love you, all the things. Not in a demeaning way, I care about you so much and I'm going to be the adult and I can handle you.
Oh yeah,
out of love.
I had some smart aleck kids at the very beginning with that. And what I didn't do was disrespect them. I just said, oh, hey, thanks. Yeah, you can go ahead and sit right there. We're cool. And then I'd move on, right? I'm not feeding into where he was wanting to take me.
Yeah.
And so I tried to be very respectful with that. And by the end of the conversation, he was 100% in on it and with me. And it doesn't, first of all, the brain craves novelty.
True.
We come in different. The kids are going to be like, what's this?
True.
And they're going to want to participate differently. I used to have a consultant come into my classroom. I described him as Santa Claus and Grandpa rolled up in one. He'd say the same dadgum thing I said to the kids, and they'd be like, okay. And I was, what? I was so frustrated by that. But again, I think that's really a powerful testament to team building inside schools. How do we have each other's backs in these situations?
Yeah. The one thing I would add to the whole, I've done the respect agreement. It went well. We got all the quadrants filled out. We defined all the things, and I've got it. So, but it's not going perfectly. That concern. I would also add to that is make it a living document. I mean,
it has to be.
I mean, and I'm not going to quite say every day, but I'm kind of saying every day. I like to make it just part of my morning routine. Like, oh, hey, folks, let's just take a 30 seconds, 1 minute, 60 seconds, 2 minutes. Let's review. What are you focusing on today personally that you need to work on? One aspect, write it down on a sticky note, put it on your desk. At the end of the day, we're not going to share it. This is just for your self-growth. We're going to rate ourselves on 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. How do we do on that? What do I need to do better? I mean, there's ways you can draw the kids' attention to it. Keep it as a focal point of this is how we operate. This is how we agreed together to operate. And you could set some little class goals. Hey, during this ELA lesson or during this math lesson, during the morning, or when we go to music, because we've had a little trouble there, what are we going to focus on today? I mean, there's ways you can make it a living document, almost pre-correcting the behavior, setting them up for success types of ways every single day.
We're just reminding people of who they want to be and who they want to be around. I think that's really important. I don't want to be the person who's messing the stuff up. That doesn't feel good. No. It just doesn't. And no matter what stories we tell ourselves about the kid who's messing the stuff up, that kid doesn't feel good. I promise. They're not happy about being in that space. They're just, the pre-work with that. Eric, genius.
Do the respect agreements, folks. They're really great strategies for classroom management, positive classroom culture. Make them living documents. Again, there's going to be bumps in the road. Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep going. It's a great, great tool for helping kids feel seen, valued, and heard, for positive classroom culture. And if you're having some struggles with it, reach out to us. We would love to just have a conversation, a phone, a Zoom conversation, or just email, whatever.
Yes.
We'd love to hear from you. And thanks once again for joining our wonderful Quick Bites. We are so appreciative of you being our audience, and we love you. So thanks.